how do you think that this is going to affect the next year's competitions? SCA was
Yeah.
the championship was talking about a new cupping protocol for the sensory judges. Uh, it's going to change it.
Like on a really basic level, when you think about barista competition and the judges, you have 4 sensory judges and you have the head judge, right? And each one is doing a different job. So the sensory judges are tasting the drinks that you serve them, and they are calibrated with each other. They all agree on what free means, but they have different experiences and different backgrounds, so that scores will always be slightly different. What they perceive will be slightly different. Maybe it's a experienced Q grader who's been working with coffee for 20 years compared to a barista who's been working as a trainer for 3 years, and their perceptions of an espresso will be slightly different. They'll pick up different flavor notes. The head judge currently has to taste all 4 cups, and right now it's that's hard to imagine. How a competition could be arranged that will allow that, and for it to be safe and clean and acceptable for everyone. And when we do training, to cut out some of those disconnects and biases, when I've been training with cafe baristas, I've got a group of 4 baristas, and I want them to taste the exact same shot that I brewed for one of them. I want all 5 of us to taste exactly the same thing, so we know that it's not a difference from extraction and stuff like that. So we're going to have to find ways to get much more rigorous about how we agree on flavor and what's objective and what's subjective. How we police that line without having to share the same spoon or share the same cup. And for me, that's kind of sad. I like hugging people. I am probably a germ magnet because I taste coffee from other people's cups, and I want to taste this, I want to taste that, and I'm going to have to be much more sensible in how I work. I think it will be hard in just navigating the current models that we have in space and how we serve people and how you translate that to a competition. But the competition has already evolved a lot, and as rules become normal in cafe environments, they'll find ways to adopt some of those. And maybe it's just, hygiene will become much more important. And actually I have a good friend who runs a roastery in Korea, and because cold brew is such a big product in Korea, huge quantities being brewed every day in every small roastery, the health and safety implications were already becoming an issue there that were impacting roasteries, to the point that maybe they could only produce cold brew if they had a factory with the right paperwork, with the right health and safety requirements, and maybe that meant that there couldn't be lots of roasteries in the city center anymore. They were all having to move to big factories outside. So some of that, it will be kind of boring, but some of that paperwork in different ways, in different markets, will become normal in cafes and roasteries. We'll maybe have to have a different level of how we demonstrate that we're clean, where we touch cups, all those things. Maybe we have to wear gloves all the way through a performance. And it's not a bad thing, it's just a change that we will react to and find the right way around. But there is something sad, when you go to a big chain restaurant, the health and safety is probably better than when you go to a really comforting, home restaurant with someone's mom cooking kind of thing. But I know which restaurant that I want to go to. And there's going to be that juggle between, what is safe and what just looks like it's safe, and what we need to do and what we can find better ways around.
Sure.
In my case, I have 6 months to the new date of the championship.
If
So I
coffee
have a
was
lot of time to find a new coffee.
Yeah.
I have a lot of things to do. But uh, do you think that the World Championships are going to be in November, or do you see it different?
I hope they are. I, it's because of the country, because so many countries are impacted. So, there's the situation in Australia and where it is at that point, but there's also what, for example, the situation in Chile, or in 10 countries. If there are problems in 10 countries and 10 national champions can't come, and so you're competing against 30 rather than the 60, does it feel like it's right to go on and stuff like that? So they're going to have to juggle all those things. Um, a lot has changed in the last 3 months so quickly, and it's all so far been pretty negative or disruptive, and life has got harder over the last 3 months. I like to think that if the world can change that much in 3 months, in 6 months a lot of good changes can happen as well. I don't think the problem will have gone away by then, but I hope that we will find better ways to manage it, better ways to test and control, so that maybe it is possible to run it in November. It might look a little different. It might not be as many competitors, and it might be that the competition runs, but it's a slower process. Everyone needs to be in Australia for longer. They need to be there a week before and a week after. And I think there will be hurdles like that, but I think it's possible. I think for the national champions, it's probably worth spending the next 2 months really thinking about, regardless of the coffee you use, what you want to say and how you want to say it, because there are things that won't change even if it gets delayed another 8 months. Maybe there's 100 baristas in 2021 instead, I don't know. But really focus on the physical skills and the ideas and how you might use different coffees at different times to translate those ideas. Do the reading, do the research, do the practice that you can, and build it to a point that if something changes, 8, 10 weeks before, you can change it. You can move the timeline. You can do whatever. I think that's the only good advice right now. If you can have a routine that just needs the right coffee at the right time inserted into it, you can pull those two together in 6 to 8 weeks really easily. If you hold off doing any of the work, making any decisions until you know for certain what's going to happen, then you've got a big job ahead of you when maybe you've only got 8 weeks to pull it together. So doing some work now and practicing, maybe not full intensity, but making sure that every week you can look back and say, you know what, I've made a few steps towards the goal now, that my milk skill is a little better, my pores are a little tidier, my text, my way of working behind the machine is a little cleaner. This way, that is good. Even if it's just mentally, your understanding of extraction, really asking a question like, how do I guarantee that I get this flavor from this coffee every single time, or this percentage extraction? How do I change my method to get closer to this? Really asking those questions will set you up well so that you don't need to answer that question when you do have a steady timeline or the right coffee.
And part